our upcoming trip to the Philippines. That's what I'm going to talk about today a little bit. I hope you guys will stick around. Alright guys, before we get started with today's video, I have to ask if you would be so kind to please give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click that bell so you get notified of all of our uploads, as we're heading to the Philippines in a couple of short months. And there's going to be a lot of videos coming at you and you don't want to miss any of them. So we hope that you will consider subscribing today. So without further delay, let's get on with today's video. Alright guys, welcome back to another edition of USA to Philippines Live channel with your host, me, Mike. Doing things a little bit different this morning. Very hot weekend here in New Jersey. So I'm doing this video very early in the morning, before the heat of the day. Just dropped my lovely wife off at work. She's got to work the weekend. So I got my coffee and I'm sitting here and we're going to talk a little bit about our trip. That's big news. It's big news to us because we've been waiting. So we wanted to share a little bit about right now the pricing is very crazy. I wanted to talk a little bit about the how I went about selecting the flight. Some of the things that I noticed while shopping. I didn't just jump on the internet and buy the flight. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I was I'm kind of always constantly watching the airline prices to see what they're doing. My trip to the Philippines back in 2016, I think I paid a little under $1,000 just for me, and I had a friend of mine's father was a Filipino travel agent local here, set the whole trip up for me, and that included my flight out of Newark Liberty to via Hong Kong to Manila, and then there was another flight to Iloilo. I think the whole series of flights all bundled together was only like $1,000 back then. To be honest with you, I don't think, the prices are definitely higher, but I wasn't really blown out by the sticker shock. Yeah, it's a little on the high side, but it's very volatile. Now for us, I booked after researching, and you guys probably, if you follow the channel, you've heard me talk about this Singapore Airlines. I watched a lot of the flight reviews. The flight is SQ21. It's labeled as the world's longest flight. It's out of Newark Liberty, stops in Changi Airport, Singapore, and then on to Manila. So, but the SQ21 is the New York to Singapore portion. I think there's under 100 passengers on the whole plane. It's an if you're into airplanes like I am, it's an A350-900 ULR, ultra long range. It's got extra fuel tanks on it, and there's no economy section as we know it. There's business class and premium economy. So with having the reduced amount of passengers really enables them to kick up their game with service. And again, from watching the flight reviews of this flight, it seemed like a no-brainer, and the cost wasn't really too crazy. I mean, for premium economy, and again, it's an 18-hour and 45-minute flight to Singapore from Newark, New Jersey. So for me, I wanted the extra comfort. I flew Philippine Airlines. In 2019, my wife and I took Philippine Airlines direct to Manila from JFK. We had a spring for car service from northern New Jersey to JFK. It was a little bit, it wasn't cheap. It wasn't real expensive, but I had to figure that into the price of the ticket because I had to get to the airport. So we flew Philippine Airlines in 2019. it was also an Airbus A350-900. It was a beautiful airplane. It was a new airplane. I found the seats to be very uncomfortable. There wasn't a lot of leg room. The cushions itself just hurt my rear end, man. In fact, I bought a pillow when I was in the Philippines for the flight home. We didn't find the staff was great. Philippine Airlines, very friendly, nice people, but I just found they weren't as attentive to us in economy as I had experienced aboard Cathay Pacific, aboard China Airlines, and I just really didn't want to go that route. I really wanted to experience something a little better. My wife has this thing, she wanted to fly Korean Airlines. Now they have a partnership with Delta. You can take Delta to one of the airports. I think the flight that I was looking at was, it was several. I think it was Newark Liberty to Atlanta or Minnesota. And then from there, it was a direct flight to Seoul, South Korea, aboard a Korean Airlines flight. So that was actually more expensive than the Singapore Airlines flight, which is direct right out of Newark. Then the seat configurations in this Airbus ULR ultra long range, they're 2-4-2. So that means and they have single seats. You guys that are traveling alone, it's a little bit, I think it's $40 extra. The single seats in this plane are unbelievable. You got an extra storage bin next to you that you can put all your carry-on luggage and stuff in. It's amazing. The seats are beautiful. They're oversized seats. There's a footrest, a reading lamp. I'm going to show you guys all of that stuff when we get on the flight. And there are plenty of flight reviews, long haul Singapore Airlines. You can check out on YouTube. But to me, I think it's a no-brainer. I'm really looking forward to it. And I like the fact that it's a 2-4-2 configuration because it's just two of us. So we don't have to worry about, bothering somebody, the third person sitting with us. Since it's just two of us, it's just me and my wife. So it's going to be a wonderful experience for us, to relax like that. And the in-flight entertainment looks like it's off the hook. The food looks tremendous from what I've seen. So we're really excited about that. Now, getting back to how I purchased the flight. So last time we went, I used Expedia, and I bundled everything together. I bundled the flight from JFK. It was our final destination was Iloilo. So I bundled the whole thing together. That included the flight from JFK to Manila to Iloilo, and I also included the hotel stay, which was the Grand Jing Imperial Hotel in Iloilo, which is a really nice hotel. If you're heading to Iloilo, check that out. Pick the East Tower. If you do, it overlooks the river. It's beautiful. Very, very nice hotel. I think this time we're going to be staying at Injap Tower, which is proximity. We like the proximity to the SM City Mall. If you're familiar with Iloilo City, you know that. It's a good location. But back to how I selected the flight and how I purchased it. So Expedia the first time went very well, but I discovered that time that had I set up each component, each leg of the trip myself, and used a different service to book the hotel, I probably would have saved some money. I was reading and I noticed different days of the week, the prices are doing this. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. If you're a member of our Facebook group, you might have saw some of the articles that I posted in there about what's the best day to purchase a ticket. Now we noticed that on the weekends, the prices are pumped up. And also, like, after work time during the week, the prices are higher. Early in the morning during the week seems to be, you're going to find the best bargains. Although that's not always true. I'm going to tell you this. It's like a slot machine. Every time you put the dates and your destination and where you're leaving from, and you click the search button, it's like pulling the arm of the slot machine, and it just rolls around and rolls around and rolls around. And I noticed if I waited a few minutes and I did it again, the prices changed a little bit. Sometimes they went higher, sometimes they went lower. We sat down, we got the passports out and everything, and I jumped on, first I went direct to Singapore Airlines, and I tried to book the flight directly through them. And it was more expensive than it was booking through Booking.com, Kayak. Expedia was high. Orbitz, I checked out Orbitz a few times, and it was kind of like, but the last several times I hit Orbitz, it was on the high end. I mean, it was spanning from like $2,200 for her and I round trip, Newark, New Jersey to Manila, from $2,200 to $3,000. That was how it was fluctuating, and it was the same flights. So I'm just sharing that with the guys that are new to this. Don't jump on and buy your ticket. Do it. Give yourself some time and monitor. Make an account with Kayak. Make an account with Expedia. Make an account with Travelocity. Make an account. So this way, when you or even some of the airlines, sometimes you can hit and you can book directly with the airlines. So we went with Kayak. So I jumped on, and again, like I said, it was fluctuating so much. I think we got out for under $2,400 for the two of us round trip, Singapore Airlines premium economy, which I thought was pretty good. They also gave us an option for trip interruption insurance, which I went for. That was another $189. Very good policy. It also even covers $50,000, even though we don't need it, because she's a citizen and I'm a Balik Bayan. It has the $50,000 worth of coverage in case you get sick with COVID or anything else. Any other emergency medical and emergency medical evacuation, emergency dental. It really, really was a good policy, and I was glad that I went for that. So the whole thing was about $2,500 and change. It was under $2,600. So that's where we're at with that. And I found Kayak to be, and again, do your homework, guys, if you're new to traveling international. Check out the sites, because there's a lot of them. There's Just Fly, and there's a lot of them that got poor reviews. I stayed away from those, even though the prices were lower. It just didn't seem like it was worth it to me. Google Flights. If you use Google Flights, that's another good source to check for flights. I found that to be on the high end at times, but you're not actually purchasing the tickets through Google. They spit out a bunch of sources. Usually one of them is the airline itself, where you can purchase tickets from. So that's a good service too. But we went with Kayak this time, and I was able to actually, because I booked the flight and everything went through, and I was reviewing the itinerary, and I saw there was no seat selection. So I jumped on the Singapore Airlines site, and I put in my booking number, my confirmation number, and it, boom, let me right in and told me that I hadn't picked my seats yet. So we sat down and we selected our seats for all 4 flights. It's 2 flights going and 2 flights coming back. So very easy. Then I actually was able to print out e-tickets and all that directly from Singapore Airlines. I have the one from Kayak, and I have one from Singapore Airlines too, which I like better. Obviously, it's the airline itself. But I printed that out. I printed out the insurance, the flight insurance, trip interruption insurance. I'm taking all of that stuff like in a little case when we go, with all our vaccine information and all of that. And I'll be sharing more about that as we time approaches. The trip is scheduled for towards the end of September. We'll return towards the end of October. Went and sat down with my boss. I told him I was going to do this, so we sat down, and he's cool. We've been working together for 25 years. He's just a couple of years older than me, so we're kind of like buds too. So I sat down with him. I said, "Hey man, I booked a flight." He said, "Oh yeah." He says, "How long are you going for?" I said, 1 month. And he looked at me. He says, "Dude, are you gonna even come back?" I said, you know, kind of went through my mind to stay there. But yeah, I'll be back. And we get plenty. 25 years, that's a good thing about a job like I have. 25 years I'm there, I get 7 weeks paid time off a year. So I'm actually carrying over more than a week from this year. At the beginning of July is my anniversary, when all my time for the next year gets loaded back in. So I'm already going to be up a week. So I'm actually going to only use like 3 weeks, and I'm still going to have another month when I come back to burn before July 2023. So, I mean, theoretically, I could have stayed there longer, but my wife, on the other hand, is new to the hospital. She's only been there for 4 or 5 years, whatever it is now. She only gets 3 weeks. So she's actually going to take some time unpaid, which is fine. That's where we're at now. I just wanted to share. I've been meaning to get on and talk about how I picked the flight and why I picked the flight. Appreciate you guys sticking around to the end. Give the video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. As we always like to say at USA, the Philippines Life channel, wherever you guys are in the world, stay well, stay safe, stay blessed. We're going to see you real soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and God bless.